a lot of this money comes under the farm bill, and
Yeah,
as of today, we don't have a farm bill, so.
And I'm not sure that's not all bad that we don't have.
Okay, do you anticipate hiring a director or for management, or, I mean,
Well,
that's a cost.
Yeah,
So
that's a
you're gonna
question
need-
where, that's a
Where's
question,
upfront money come from?
that's a question I can't answer right now, Virginia. I believe we have some people who Hubert refers to as the Fox that will do it for free. And they've automatic, which is Des Moines Water Works. But they have said that if you want to have a county auditor or somebody keep the books or something, that'd be fine. And I didn't ask Joan, and I don't think any county auditor is going to step into that position.
Well, it's more than just keep the books, isn't it? From the duties
Well,
that
I think the important thing is to have someone in the driver's seat to apply for the grants and see what grants are good to go for and what you need to stay away from.
I would assume you could probably even contract with Region 12.
They've been contacted about
They have
this.
been.
I don't know how far that's gone, but
Chris, or Rick Whitaker, or Rick Hunziker brought it up, and that's all that was brought up. I mean, they've been approached and that sort of thing.
So you might not need staff if, you know. you just-
number member of our board
Right.
has contacted Region 12.
Right.
So, okay, just to clarify, some concerns I'm taking away of this are page and a half from Ernie, and then there's concern about the administrative cost and potential strings and expense attached in the future. That kind of summarizes it, Hubert? All right.
well, I guess, as far as I'm personally concerned, I think it should be scrapped, period. I just think there's enough government agencies, there's enough things out there available that we don't need another layer of bureaucracy.
I appreciate that.
Do you
And
have
I want to make sure that I'm all for conservation. Just because I happen to be on TV, I'll say this: I do all no-till, so but we don't need another layer of bureaucracy.
Do you know the ramifications if you don't join? 'Cause apparently not every county is joining.
This is a tough one. I think if we don't join, it would be status quo here, and I would expect that any grants that this 2080 agreement gets would be used in other areas of the watershed, other areas other than Carroll County. And so, some of our Carroll County producers would say, well, shoot, we could have sure helped if we had that grant or something. So I guess, Virginia, in my opinion, if we don't join, we won't go backwards, but it might limit an opportunity to go forwards.
I like the word "might."
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
letting me.
Thank you, Howard.
Just
Appreciate you
know
being
your,
here.
your comments are appreciated and they've been
Absolutely.
heard, and I don't probably think there's anybody at this table that can refute anything you said. We have concerns about it too. Anytime you approach any kind of new agreement, any endeavor, there's, as Neil clearly said, there's a risk-reward ratio, and we hope and trust you will allow your elected officials to, make the right decision. And one of the outcomes that I wanted to maybe take away from today is that we've a little more clearly and perhaps concisely identified what our goals and objectives are of joining. And we talked about being in a position to position ourselves for conservation opportunities, to be able to leverage a little better for our communities within our county. And then when these opportunities arise, whether or not we agree or not, that we can effectively and economically compete for those funds and opportunities probably remains to be seen. But I think we can probably all agree that we have a little less chance or no chance by not being a part of it. But when it comes to the point of actually voting on whether or not we join in this or not, I want to make sure that for those who are in support of it, that we collectively and in unity have some type of mission statement that is clearly identified as far as what the actual outcomes is going to be in 5 to 10, 15, 50 years from now. And so, a couple of real quick things before, if anybody else has anything to add. I want to mention there's a couple of really good things in this 28E that I was pleased with. The first one on page 1, where it begins, whereas pursuant to Iowa Code 46.6B 23, I think it's very cleverly stated that the authority may perform all of the following duties and not shall. We've all seen how that works to your advantage and disadvantage on how that plays out for you. I mean, we're talking about that in mental health right now, but I think that's...
On that, I would comment that is a direct quote out of the law.
Right.
Law, read the law.
Yeah.
Read it.
So it's correct.
For code, for letter.
So I thought that was good. The final last statement on page 1, where, and Neil had pointed this out earlier, because I know this is a concern to all of us, is that a watershed management authority shall not acquire property by eminent domain. I don't think any of us are comfortable with that. Following on page 3, I think another very good inclusion of this under 31.7, the final statement where it says a watershed management authority, it follows back up that it shall not, and make it quite clear that there is no eminent domain capacity within this. Makes it very, very clear. One question, Neil, if you might want to just ask this of your committee, on the same page on Article 4.3, where it says, once established, so we go into an agreement to join this 28E. And then following that, then they're going to discuss the bylaws. My question would be, can we get out if we don't agree to something in the bylaws? So in other words, we can agree to join the watershed, and then these bylaws are discussed and adopted, and we have an opportunity to exit then. And I believe we do, but I certainly want to make sure that that's clear. Because the bylaws haven't been adopted.
Your termination clause
Yeah.
should supersede the
Yeah.
bylaws.
Similar to how our mental health region is being set up,
Aye.
is we can agree to regionalize, but then when we set the governing laws, if there's something that we don't like, I want to make it very clear that we have the opportunity to opt out.
All right, I feel we can, but I'll clarify.
I think so.
I guess the comment I'll make there is, in the early discussion, I think the first meeting I went to, it was brought up that the 2080 and the bylaws had to match up, and that was some of the discussion that was brought up in the first meeting, because when they first started, nothing matched.
Right.
So I think that will be addressed.
So you'll see quite a little parallel there. It is a little bit to what you had alluded to here earlier, Virginia, under Section 7. It says, 7.1, it says, it is agreed and understood by the parties hereto that no financial obligation upon any cooperator are intended to be created. Intended, I understand that, but I think it's as well as it can be written.
Well, yeah, but if you got a bond that's gotta be paid off.
Yes. Furthermore, in 7.2, but understand that bond would be an action that would be, separate or secondary or after we've been joined in this. Section 7.2 says no cooperator may be required to contribute funds to the authority except to fulfill obligations previously made by official action. So, once again, we would have an opportunity if this board, acting in the best interest of our constituents, didn't feel that it was in our best interest to be involved financially, then we would have the opportunity to bail at that time.
I'm going to clarify one more thing in 7.2. It said, no action to contribute funds by a board authority is binding on the cooperator that he or she represents without official approval of the governing body. What that means is if I'm in a board meeting and I says, sure, we'll contribute $2,000 to this good project, that is without any meaning until it comes back to this board, and this board says, oh, yeah, we agree, or no, we don't agree. It's this board's final vote means everything, and what I say there means nothing in that respect. The total board has to.
You're based on your own personal goodwill at that point.
So, you know, if I'm in there, basically I could say, I think our board will, or I don't think our board will, but that's just what I think, and then we come back and discuss it, this whole board votes, and that's the way it is.
And finally, on page 5, under section 12.1, is it makes it quite clear that, that they want only represented by elected officials, any entity to be a member of this. Any city, county, or district within, not a cooperator, shall request to become a cooperator, but there's no opportunity for, say, Des Moines Water Works or an entity without a board of elected officials. Quite frankly, Neil, I think it's written as well as it possibly could be. I appreciate your work on this, and Marty, you know, was in on the ground floor. We will continue to study this. We will certainly listen to any other constituents' concerns on it. We won't take this to a vote for Carroll County's participation for at least after 3 weeks from now. That'll be at the soonest. I'm of the position that we want to do, you know, what's best for the people of Carroll County, and hopefully I believe this board fully understands that that's at stake here. So,
Have any other thoughts, Hubert? Give me a call.
Yeah, I will. Thanks for the opportunity.
thank you. Anything else? No? Okay, very good. Thank you again. We will
I'll see you
move.
guys.